Watch to the end to find out what will happen. This girl is wearing this beautiful purple dress and this guy enters, very quietly and suspiciously, quietly, holding some papers and a set of keys, which he places on the counter. After doing this he makes sure that the territory is secure, if you know what I mean, and then goes into the hallway of the house. At the end of it, he observes the girl. We can see that she is just getting dressed, but it doesn't take long for her to notice his presence. The woman asks what the boy is doing there and he tells her to stay calm because they are alone. He also says that Alex, the girl's fiancé, asked him to bring some documents. She then calms down and asks him what he thought of her dress. He says he loved it. Who would have thought it? She is about to get married and just lets another man into her house like this, and now we see him pull down the straps of her dress and they start kissing. How can she do this to her own fiancé? It is a huge lack of respect and consideration. After they hear knocking at the door, they are both startled and he tells her to get off him. He then questions her about what they will do next, and if she has any plans, because he doesn't know what to do. She tells him to keep calm because she knows what to do. She straightens her towel, goes toward the window, and when she pulls aside the curtain, she realizes that it is her neighbor. The young man, very worried, tells the girl to go straight to the door, answer him and then send him away. She tells him to be quiet and be still, because she will go there and be right back. She answers the door. It really is the neighbor. He says he has heard that she is going to marry Alex, the best engineer in town, and wishes him well. Furthermore, he says that he knows they are selling the beautiful house they live in and that he has a great interest in it. Then, already entering, he asks her if he can take a look, but she says he'd better come back another time, because she's only wearing a towel because she just took a shower and at that moment she's a little busy and maybe it's better to take care of it with her fiancé. He insists one more time, but gives up and says goodbye to the girl. Not satisfied, we can see that while the girl was going back to her room, the boy went around the house and peeked out the window, because he found the whole situation very strange. What he sees is another boy in the bed of the renowned engineer. The girl asks him worriedly if he is sure that her fiancé will not return home for the time being, for, from what the boy said, they would meet there. And the boy once again reassures the girl, saying that he himself asked him to take those papers there and that he would be in a very important meeting and it would take time to finish. Knowing this, she says that they can continue where they left off. Exchanging words of affection and romance, she says she has something to show him. He curiously asks what it is. She then says she will show him. On her back, she then takes off her towel and shows what she wanted. He is stunned and at the same time happy with the surprise. Now we finally see the groom arrive, greeting the neighbor and telling him that the papers are inside the house and inviting him in. The neighbor finds it curious that the boy doesn't have the key to his own house, but he explains that he lent it to an employee to bring him the papers. But he knocks on the door hoping that his fiancée will answer and open it for him. The couple is startled, wondering who it is this time. And the surprise is even greater when they discover that it is the neighbor again, only this time with Alex. Desperate, the young man wants to know what he is doing. And the girl tells him to hide somewhere. And the discussion goes on and on because nothing seems to be working properly until the girl says she has an idea. He doesn't seem to hear and says he needs to hide and asks the girl where would be the best place for him to hide. She then suggests behind the bed and he then rolls over to behind the bed, but concludes that there is no space for him there and that they need to think of a better idea. He is clearly feeling pressured and demands that she think of something effective immediately. She asks where the dress is, because she is going to put it on and answer him wearing the dress, so he can't go in, because he can't see her in her wedding dress. This is the idea she had had in the first place, but he had not even listened to her. But now he helps her put on her dress. And she asks him to be still and quiet, because she will answer the door. When she answers the door and greets the boy, he questions what took her so long. She replies that she was trying on her wedding dress and that for this very reason, he will not be allowed in, because seeing her in those clothes could bring bad luck. Although reluctantly, the young man agrees, but asks the girl to do him a favor, to get him the documents that the young man dropped off. She says that his employee really came by to drop off some papers and that she will get them for him and asks for a moment. She goes to get them, but leaves the keys behind. She then hands over the papers and is relieved to be rid of her fiancé, thinking everything was now safe. However, after she says goodbye, she closes the door and is on her way to her room again. Quickly the boy notices that she didn't take the keys and she, lying, says there weren't any keys, only the papers. The fiancé finds it strange because he handed over the keys and papers, so supposedly the keys would need to be together, but he lets it go. Outside the house, the two men, the fiancé and the neighbor, talk about the house and negotiate its sale. The papers, now presented to the neighbors, are about paperwork, taxes paid, the house plan, taxes paid, deeds, and such like. The guy checks everything and, besides listening attentively, also asks questions. The owner of the house asks the young man to excuse himself, saying that he will call his employee to find out where he left his key. He also says that he can go home and think about the proposal. Now he gets the biggest surprise of all. He hears his cell phone ringing inside his own house. Something is wrong.
He approaches the door to make sure of what he is hearing.
Inside, the girl gets angry and tells the boy to turn off his cell phone. He, very anxious, has a hard time silencing the call. Meanwhile, the fiancé is sure that the boy is inside.
After much effort he manages to make the noise stop.
After the trouble, she tells him not to worry and to stay calm, because the fiancé is very naive and does whatever she wants. According to her, he obeys her and always believes what she says, especially when she says she loves him and that she is with him for love, when in fact she is only with him for the money he has. While he listens to everything from behind the door. The lover tells the girl that they need to be careful, because Alex is a very smart man and if he finds out anything, it will be the end of them. She is very positive and believes that everything will work out fine.
And together they come up with a plan to slowly take everything that is his. She would convince him to put everything in her name and then... well? Then you know. And then they would be together. Can you imagine this situation? What would you do? Leave it in the comments. And don't forget to like and share. Their discussion goes on and on about how their life will be perfect with him and how he will have a better position when he is gone forever, but what they don't know is that he is right behind the door, listening to everything.
The engineer is incredulous and says he needs to get them both, but wonders how he will get into the house without the key. But he remembers that there is a spare key, which not even she knows.
And then he takes this key and without making them listen, after all they are too distracted with their miraculous plans.
And very carefully he enters.
And when he arrives in the room, he finds the two of them.
Clapping his hands and saying how nice. The woman despairs, saying that he can't see her like this. He bluntly says that he was behind the door and could hear everything they were saying and plotting against him. She tries to argue by saying that it is not at all what he is thinking. He says he doesn't want to hear any lame excuses and tells her to go live with her lover. She asks for forgiveness, but he doesn't even seem to hear it. As for the boy, he has just announced that he will need to get another job, because he is fired.
So in the end, the guy lost his job for getting involved with an engaged woman, and the woman, who was engaged to a successful guy who loved her, now has no one. I'm glad he found out about the wedding. Can you imagine marrying someone like that and living the rest of your life with a person who only thinks about himself and his money? Poor guy. He is better off alone.